Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my Veterans to Success podcast. You probably know by now, my mission is to help 1 million veterans and entrepreneur business owners achieve the dreams, goals, and aspirations they deserve. That is why I created the Veterans to Success podcast, because I get to interview guys, men and women, who want to share their fascinating stories with you about their time before, during and after their time in the military, so you can benefit and overcome your challenges. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be mesmerized, astounded, and entertained. Hello and welcome to another episode of Veterans to Success, the podcast where I get to speak to seemingly ordinary people who have extraordinary stories. And today I've got with me Angela Adroni. Hello, Angela. How are you doing?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Oh, that's good. I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. Right. So you know the score. We've had a good chat before. You've got a fabulous story. And rather than a big fanfare for a common man or woman, we just delve straight in, and as we go along and have a chat, right, there's a steady reveal on your past, present, and future. So let's dive straight in, shall we? Tell me about your time before the military. So as a little girl, what was going on? What was happening?
So as a little girl, so I was born in Uganda, and I grew up in Uganda as a little girl. I went to boarding school quite early.
Right.
So, yeah, I remember most of my days were in school. So I went to boarding school as a 4-year-old. And yeah, I did enjoy school because I had my friends there. And holidays were split between my mum and my dad because my parents were never married, or I don't remember them living together. So the times were split between going to my mum or living with my mum mainly, and then living with my dad. So it was, I was born in the city, so I was a city child, but then did go on holidays in the countryside, mainly on my dad's side. And yeah, it's lots of adventure. It was a good upbringing. I think I enjoyed my childhood and the opportunities my parents gave me. They were very hardworking. My dad is a businessman. He's still, I think when you're a businessman or a business owner, you never retire. Well,
No.
if you don't have a plan, you don't retire. So my dad hasn't retired yet, bless him. So he owned schools, special needs schools. He founded Special Olympics when I was growing up. He founded Special Olympics Uganda at the time. I've got a sister who's got severe autism.
Special Olympics.
Yes.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, it was really cool. So he met like Clinton and all these things.
Just tell me, I've got to stop you before you go on. What sort of stuff did that do for people in Uganda? How did that bring the nation together?
So it was mainly through sports. So what used to happen was, because the school was like a mainstream school that he owned, or he's the director of, and then he had a section for special needs. And then they would have their games, like their Olympics kind of thing. So every 5 years, so he would get children together and then get them trained, so then they can represent Uganda in the Special Olympics. So it was quite interesting, and they would have seminars, and they would have all these delegates coming and coaches. It was really very, very nice to be around and very inspiring at the time. Yeah, it was really good. My mum, civil servant, she's an accounts assistant. She did that for years. She's now retired. She's really good at numbers. Yeah, she was just like on budgeting everything, like even up to now, she's like, but then if I did have that kind of money, I think I'll just do this instead. I'm like, just have fun, mum. So it's just like, yeah, so she likes to crunch numbers down. It was quite good upbringing. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And isn't that interesting? Because you hear of people, I mean, it is interesting, particularly because like your parents didn't live together, and yet you still class that as a fantastic upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not common. So my so my family dynamics is not the norm compared to when, yeah, like I would go to school and then everyone else would have their mom and dad come together, visit them with all their siblings and other sorts. But I think it depended. So again, it depends on how you want to see it. For me, I saw it as a positive because then I had two well, two different parents. Someone would give me money, and then I'll go to the other and be like, "Oh, I don't have any pocket money," and then yeah,
So you got to play them off against each other, right? So there's the big
yeah.
bonus. Yeah.
No, my mom would say, don't say to him, well, I hope he won't be listening. So don't say that I've given you money, go and ask him. And then we're like, okay, I will go. Yeah, so it was, sometimes it wouldn't be as positive, but they had some challenges. There were challenges, of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah.
But I liked to choose the positive side because with such a dynamic, I think in life and how society paints there is negatives, but I think we look at the negatives more than we're looking at the
Yeah.
positives. And in my own story, I like to look at the positives. And I think choosing the positives, I think have led me, to look at life differently. So
And
yeah,
that's a fantastic attitude, because I talk about attitude a lot, right? And we're not
yeah,
going to reveal it yet because I know what you do now. Being positive, right? Now, recently I had an injury, which you know about, and I'll be doing that in a podcast separately. And it was how I viewed it, my attitude
yeah.
to that. I could have thought, oh no, not again, because
Mm.
this is a
Oh
repeat of
yes.
what happened last time. But
Mm.
I never. Instead, I thought, right, okay, what can we take from this? What can we learn? How are we going to go forward, and what can we do positively? So I love your attitude, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Because it's great. Because you could have quite easily played the victim.
Yeah, I've got a sister. Yeah, it's sad. She growing up, we literally were always together, being moved from school to school together. And she was very clever. She's still clever, very
Right.
clever. And yeah, so she chose to look at the negatives. And even if it happened to me, um, she carries it on
Yeah.
and she would carry on, and up to now she'd be telling me stories. But recently I spoke to her last week and she said to me, I've forgotten most of our childhood. And it's like, that's good, because then you can
Yeah.
move on. And she's like, I don't remember most of it. And she was mentioning all that stuff. I was like, yeah, that's good. So just pick what you want to remember and help yourself. So she's gone quite on the bad trail. She did engineering. And I think she was, when you're growing up, the person you would think they would excel. And I said to her again, you are very clever. Don't forget that. And you're amazing. And she said to me, oh, I don't feel like that. So she's
Oh.
had a few years of not so good stuff. She doesn't do engineering anymore, substance abuse and psychological. So I think that was for me seeing that I took the positive side
Mm.
of
Yeah.
my upbringing. And for her, she's taken the other side. And then on the spectrum, you can see, yeah, there are two both examples. I won't say that the child was amazing, but it was good. But I've chosen the great one,
Yeah.
and I think she's chosen this, and I can see for myself. And I say to her, if you're forgetting, yeah, please just leave those chains. Don't be
Yeah.
chained. Don't stay into the victim thing longer. And we haven't talked because as we grew up, we're so close. And I think when I left and came to the UK, we started growing apart. And yeah, so then she just maybe felt I was luckier than she is. And I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Luck stands for, in my opinion, labor under correct knowledge.
Yeah.
Labor under correct knowledge, because I think it's fabulous that it's like chalk and cheese, yin and yang, up and down,
Yes,
pros and cons, booms and busts. Right, it's what you choose, isn't it, to
I
focus
think
on.
so.
Right. So
Mm.
so you were at boarding school from the age of 4. You moved around with your sister a lot to different schools. What any other
We're actually not in the same schools. So we're
all right.
all Yeah, we were, she also probably would have her own story, but it was quite similar. So we're not in the same school.
All right,
We
okay.
were in different schools, but yeah, same
But
situation, but
yeah, yeah,
different
okay,
schools.
yeah,
It's
got you.
same scenario, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that. So what time, what age were you when you moved to the UK?
I was 19.
All right, okay. And
Yes.
what brought you across, and what made you decide you wanted to come across to the UK?
Like I said, I did spend too much time at home. So I had done my sixth form and I was thinking, oh, I don't really want to be around this space because then my friends were all over the country because then you go to boarding school, you don't have the same friends at home. And where I used to live wasn't more an open, was a gated home. So I wouldn't have friends around. And I thought, so my mum went to just come back home with this prospectus. I'm like, okay, I could just look at that. So I looked at universities and all she does, my mum would be like, she doesn't say much. She just like put something there. It's up to you to actually use the initiative to yeah.
Ah, what a great
Yeah. So
strategy.
she like so she expects you to read her mind and figure out what she wants you to do. So well, that's how I kind of figured. So I got these things, she put it in my just in front of me, say, oh yeah, have a look at that. So I looked, started applying for universities and I did get so I came down to study as I came as a student. So I studied computer programming and yeah, so I decided to stay. I don't know. Yeah. So
So
that's how I
you
came to
came
the
across to
UK.
the UK to do computer programming
Computer, yes.
in a university. By the way, you mentioned that you were in a gated community, so that made you feel penned in. How come it was gated? What was going on at that time?
No, it was not gated, so it was more enclosed. I don't know
All
how to
right,
go because
okay.
most, when you have your own fence and
Yeah,
gate
yeah,
kind of thing. So that's how, because most people would have like be open. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So some people would leave. So if you had a gated community, it would be like you have a fence. I don't know if you come into the countryside, most
yeah,
homes are
yeah,
like that. Well, not most, but
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
they've got an enclosure.
yeah, yeah.
So in Uganda, not all when I was growing up, not all homes now they are like that because everyone is kind of closed off and yeah, just open their gates to just get out and then come back in and close it. But when I was growing up, it was not common. So then you would have children who play it together.
Right,
But then
okay.
if I was to be friends with the children out there, then I'll have to open the gate, go and socialize with them. Maybe they wouldn't want to play with me because they don't know who I am,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or I'm the rich kid from inside there. So again,
Right,
so
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
So
so yeah, it was
that's
quite
interesting. Yeah,
yeah, so it was, yeah, it depended on, so we wouldn't have that many friends because then everyone would be closed in, like they would
yeah,
have
yeah.
their own gates, they come and close the gates, and that's it. But then my mum, when I went to my mum, she used to live on a flat. We actually talked about how so most of them were like civil servants who lived on that. So it was actually fun to come home because we didn't know she had moved. And we came home and yeah, she just took us there. I was like, oh my goodness. So you stand on the balcony, see all these children playing. It was probably one of the best moments in these flats. And the children would come out. Everyone speaks a different language, but everyone spoke English, which was quite nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you would play with everybody else, and then you go and knock on their doors, like, can you come out? So it was always, yeah, she was for about 3 years, I think, in that place. And when we came back home, she picked us up and it was a different place. So, but no, that was actually the best times. Yeah.
Fabulous. So you're in the UK now. You've done your
Hmm.
university degree. We're
Mm.
we're in computers.
Beautiful. Yes.
But you finish your degree, and then you're thinking, right, what's next? So where did you go? What did you do?
So at that time, I was just working, and then we met just socializing. Again, I don't have family in the UK, so I was mainly meeting people like me. So I met so many people like me. Some of them have left, gone back, some of them are still around. So then
But by the way,
it was about
before you carry on,
2009 now.
bye, you were in 19, what, sorry?
This is 2009 now, I
Right,
think.
okay. Now, just while you're on that, what How did you feel at the time? You know, like you say, interestingly, you say people like me, which to me,
Like me was students.
yeah, a student, right?
Students, no family. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So there were,
how did you feel about that at the time? Did you feel ostracized, or did you just feel that was just the way it was?
when you're young, when you're young, I don't think you think a lot about what's happening. So, because I was quite young, and I think I'm quite free-spirited. So, and being my background was moving around different schools a lot. So I didn't really mind so much. So it didn't occur to me when I was leaving the country because I was living in my parents' house. Everyone was, when I got here, it was more of a cultural shock because I
Yeah.
wasn't prepared for it. So in my head, I was thinking, okay, I'll go into there, just had my bags packed and everything. So I was really excited. I got here, I was thinking, oh, that's cold. And mind you, this was September. So that was the first one, I was like, oh, that's cold. The other one was the exchange rate of the pound to a shilling, to the Ugandan shilling. So I didn't know the value of a pound
Yeah.
to the shilling. So when I was just buying like a bus pass or something, I was thinking, oh, that is quite a lot. So then I was, and yes, and I was thinking to myself, I need to get a hang of, I stopped kind of converting it in my head all the time I was buying something. I was thinking that's quite expensive, but then it's just the country's the shilling is lower than the pound. So I got that, yeah, quickly adjusted to that. And then people around me were getting, so students around me were getting part-time jobs at the time because there was restrictions on how much you can work. So I think at the time you could only work 20 hours a week. Of course, if you're a full-time student, I was thinking I have to get a job. Yeah, I was thinking it was quite trendy as well because then you meet new people and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, "Oh, I have to get a job. And I was so stressed because the only interview I'd done was to get a visa to come to the UK. I
Right.
was thinking I need to, yes, I wasn't prepped. No one preps you, nothing. And yeah, so life started. It was a lot of learning very quickly.
And when you say learning, what did you do to get tips on how to be interviewed? I'm interested in that when you knew nothing and you're starting at the ground level.
Nothing. You just go in. Because of course there wasn't the internet, there wasn't any of
Ah,
that.
yeah, of
The
course.
internet was there, so there wasn't those tips there. So the internet was there, but my mind wasn't telling me go over there and say. So I didn't prep much. All I knew for the interview, you have to be smart, look someone in the eye, smile if you have to. So first impressions matter. So all I did was dress up very smart, good posture. That was it. So go in, answer the question. Just I'm quite exact, so I answer the questions, no blubbing.
You've just made me sit up there when you say,
Oh,
yeah.
so normally I just say to just answer because I'd already been prepped for the interview
Yeah,
to back for the visa because
yeah,
I don't think they do interviews anymore. I don't know. I don't think they do. But back in the 90s or the early 2000s, you needed to actually go to the to meet somebody to be
all right.
interviewed.
Yeah,
So then that actually prepped me for any other interview that I had to do. So I didn't have any background knowledge of how to approach an interview, just got there and answer the questions, be truthful. Yeah, so yeah. And that's how I've come to do interviews.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's great because sometimes you just got to get on the ground, get some real life experience, and that's how you get better.
Yeah.
So, what was it that made you wake up one morning and think, ah, military? That seems like a quite
So
good idea.
um I met a few people who were in the army at the time. And yeah, they were saying very good things about it, to be honest. Although one of them was on like medical leave or something because I don't know, I think he was serving in Iraq or something, and he got uh I think he had gunshots in his leg or something, and it
Right.
was yeah. But it was that didn't stop him to come to the club because he'd be asking, "So what happened to you?" And then he would be telling us the story, of course. And then we're like, "Oh, okay." No, but I'd met a few people in the army, and they were saying very nice things about it. So I was wandering off in London, just as you do, walk around, and I saw this careers office in the Strand. I don't think it's there anymore.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, we'll just walk in." Okay, because I mean, it's free, just walk in and ask questions. So I walked in and yeah, they were quite friendly. They said, oh yeah, it's simple. You could just come in. They gave me all I think the booklet and they said to me, yeah, we have a bub test. You can come in, do a bub test and see how you get on. I was like, oh, is that it? So it seemed very easy in that moment to, like I said, I don't think I thought deeply about things. I was just doing on a whim.
Can
Yeah.
can I just backtrack a little bit? So
Okay.
on the guy, you said he had some bullets or shots in his leg,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that didn't put you off at all, did it?
Didn't even think about it. No, because he was saying nice things about it. Even if he was on medical leave,
Yeah.
he wasn't saying anything bad about it. It was just
Right.
like, yeah, I got shot. Yeah,
Ah,
that's why I
so
thought,
then that probably gelled with you because you think, all right, he's not making much about it. He's just saying that's what happened, and that's pretty much the way you think,
yeah,
isn't
he
it?
did. Yes. So he didn't say, oh, I got shot now and I'm leaving. No, he was like, yeah, after my sick leave, I'll then go back.
Oh well,
Yeah. I was like,
fantastic.
okay.
So
Yeah.
improvise, adapt, and overcome. Right. So
Yeah.
you go into the careers office. How come?
Mm.
Just out of interest, because you know I'm former army. What made you join the RAF over the Navy or the Army? What was it calling you?
Oh, there was no calling. I was just doing stuff. And then someone said it's fine. Let's just go in. So with the RAF, it's just because I failed medical, the army medical,
All right.
because
Okay.
I went to Purbright and yeah, didn't do well on the medical because I had a heart murmur.
All
So
right.
then I
Okay.
couldn't join at the time. So I was asked to, oh, they did refer me to the hospital. So they did checks on the heart and they found that I could still join, but there was just a minor, like the blood was spilling out a bit, but it wasn't
Yeah.
something to stop me doing. So if I did major training and then
Yeah.
that would cause as you're pouring water in a bottle and then it spills. So that is how the artery is kind of working.
Right.
So that's the
Okay.
sound they were hearing when I went for the medical. So I couldn't join the army. However, on another day wandering around in London, I found another careers office that was tri service in Holborn, Holborn Square. And I thought, oh, there's another one there. These things are following me, I thought. So I walked in and I think there was, yeah, so there'll be three of them on the desk, at the desk. So the army and the navy were not there to sell me the dream. The RAF person was there.
And
And
they
the RAF,
and they sold you a hotel
yes,
room, didn't they? You know.
yes, they did. And that's how I joined.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm being flippant there. So the army and the navy weren't there. You had the RAF person there, and you
Yes.
got into a conversation with them. And
Yes.
what was it then that got you thinking, yeah, this is right for me?
Go away. They talked about going on exercise, flying, but all that kind of stuff. I was thinking, oh, just leave the country, go somewhere, anywhere. It's like, that's quite nice. But I think that time I was trying to get into the military was more for a stable income because that
Yeah, yeah.
was in 2009, there was a recession. I was thinking,
I
oh,
remember that. Yeah.
yes, I said that. I was thinking this is not looking good. So that was my main reason to join was the recession.
So good. Now I'm interested. How long did the process take from you walking in there to getting the medical for the RAF and then tipping up at the training
Colton.
center? Yeah.
Okay, so I found the army process took longer because they had to wait for a group of people to go to like a large number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So to join, and then you had to, if they don't have that number, then you have to wait another 6 months and that kind of thing. So the army one would take like over a year for
Yeah.
you to actually get to pub,
Yeah,
right?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the RAF not so long. I think I was I wasn't in start, but the whole process was finished within 6 months, and I
Wow.
was given a date. I was told I've been accepted, and then I should be joining in March 2009. So that's how quick it was, and yeah, within 6 months. The only thing that probably slowed it down is because the doctor didn't find a hot mama. And I said, "Oh, did you not find anything?" Yeah. She said, "Oh, what do you mean I didn't find anything?" And then I said to her, I did a medical before and they found a hot mama. It's like, "Oh, well, you need to find the medical document saying you're fine to serve." I was like, "Oh, why did I even mention
Well,
that?"
that's because of your honesty, you see.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, why did I mention that? But it turned out they looked at the records from the hospital and they said that that's totally fine. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Well done.
yeah.
So
Mm.
what did you get up to in training? How was that before you got posted
So
to?
training, I was quite fit, really fit at the time, and I was very prepared. Maybe because I was preparing to join the army,
Yeah,
and yeah, so I was very fit for the RAF. And when we got there, all they needed you to do was, I think, 10 press ups. And they didn't
right.
do it in my run. And I think they were doing it like a blip test. And all you needed to do was like level five or something
Level
like that.
5, yeah.
Yeah. And because this
Yeah,
was
well,
only,
I used to take soldiers on bleep tests when it first came in the 90s. And
yeah.
yeah, I remember, yeah, there were quite a few levels after level 5,
Oh yeah,
actually.
oh yeah. After level 5, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So all the basic one that they needed us to do. So when I did mine, it was on a treadmill. I don't like a treadmill. I
Right.
like to run. I think they've changed it now, but when I did it in 2009, it was a treadmill. They would book you into like a gym
Yeah, yeah.
locally, and then local to your careers office, and then you do it there on a treadmill, which that was my first time on a treadmill. I hated the treadmill, but I passed. So then we went to Holton. So before they did like a pre-assessment. So to make sure that everyone is actually fit enough. So they do a 2 weeks pre to that. I think that was mainly because women were getting hip injuries. So going straight in, because some
Yeah.
people were not as fit. So I think they put that 2 weeks thing in between. My group was all girls. I think they were trying something out, 80 girls. I think they said they would never do it again.
80.
Yes, 80.
Wow.
And that was the first and last time. Yes. So yes, they were brave enough to, I don't know who actually came up with the idea. So they said, okay, we get all girls flight. And I think by the time we finished, I think we're like 40. So they did that pre-assessment. So many people couldn't even do a press up, a neat press up, not just banging one or two. So
Yeah.
we're only meant to just do one good form
Mhm.
and then do the run. I think what they just said to us, just do up to level 5, and then you do the sit-ups. And half of the girls came, and I wondered how they were getting in, because we were meant to do a fitness test before you actually get to Halton. But then, of course, they did those measures. So people were divided. So now we're 40, I think, no, but probably about 40 now. And then we went through the phase 1 training. Phase 1 training, I was so determined. I went through first time. I didn't have to be backflighted or any injuries. I was so determined not to waste my time there. But I enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
Well done. And how did that build your character and prepare you for full-time service then?
Um, to be honest, because I was already coming from a different country. I had lived experience outside of the military, as opposed to people who were just coming from school
Yeah.
or never been away. So to me, it wasn't really,
It was just another day
yeah.
in the office.
It was another, yeah, yeah. So yeah,
So you left RAF Holton, which, by the way, takes me back because I had my first flying lesson at Holton in a Cessna way back,
yeah.
yeah, before I became a pilot. So that's great. Thank you for that memory. So where was your first posting, and how did you decide that you wanted to do the career that you did within the RAF?
I didn't decide. So what happened, as I was not born in the UK, so I was limited to some positions, that some jobs I could do, because the requirement would have been you needed to have been born in the UK, or you have to be yeah, that kind of stuff. So, and then
All right.
yeah, so I didn't choose much. And I think when I went to the careers office, normally they're selling a trade. So they're there to push a trade. So I didn't really decide on the trade. I would say to, you could just do this. You'd be going away. You're doing that and that. It's like, oh, that sounds good. Okay, I'll take that. So I was more sold something, and I just agreed to it. Yeah.
Okay. So what did
Yeah.
you actually do, and how long did the training take when you were fully fledged?
Yeah. So the training, so my trade training was also in Halton. So joined in June, and then I was already into, again with that one, I went through properly. So my training altogether was from March till I think July or August, and then I was RFODM starting from around August 2009. So I didn't really take too long in training. The caterer's training wasn't that difficult. I won't lie. It seemed like common sense, but they needed to drag it out. I don't know why, but yeah.
Well, there's a term that's used quite a lot, and my phrase is common sense. Common
Oh
sense
yeah,
isn't common practice, because
definitely. Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
yeah.
just haven't got it.
Yeah, so no, it was interesting,
Yeah,
because they made a big course about something that was very strict, but there is skills I learned from it that probably I wouldn't. The silver service thing was quite interesting, how to fold all these napkins. It's like, not that I remember half of it, but when when you go to a restaurant, I think it's sad. I don't know if I should mention it. So with cutlery, like it needs to be shiny, no watermarks and everything like that. I've carried it on and at home, and I tell my daughter, these need to be polished properly. I don't want to see water on them. I know that sounds sad, but yeah, I like that. So when I go to a restaurant, I look at the cutlery, I'm thinking, ew, they haven't even
yeah.
polished them. They haven't cleaned them. Like you'll be there wiping around. I look at the glass. So I think I did learn that kind of thing, and just being extremely clean.
Yeah. Equally sad. What I do as well is I look at how clean the toilets are,
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's
because
being extremely, so the job is, yeah, that extremely clean. Yeah, I think that's the steward thing. You're always looking at everything needs to be
yeah,
spotless.
because I remember in in basic training,
Oh yeah,
a toothbrush was my best friend to clean the toilets, to clean all the tiles and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, and now I wouldn't expect uh, establishments to have that sort of
yeah. But
discipline for their
there's
employees, but I still like cleanliness. It
you
makes
would
sense.
expect if it depends on how much the service is. So there is some places I go to, and if it's a very high-end place, there is some sort of cleanliness levels I would like to see.
Yeah,
Even if it's a low end, that's the basic. You don't want to go somewhere and you're seeing hairs around just because you're paying for
yeah.
low
Well,
rent. It's just basic.
yeah,
But
that's basic stuff. I mean, I'm not talking
mm.
about luxurious tiling and
Oh
everything.
no, no,
Just
no. We're talking
just a place
about
to have
one
some clean.
star kind
Yeah,
of, yeah.
yeah,
Even if I just went to a normal pub, that is basic. Can we
yeah,
just wipe the table? Yeah,
yeah.
come on.
So,
Yeah. So
so what did you get up to in the RAF? What you were doing, because you were in a first stint, and thank you for your service. Uh, what was whereabouts did you get posted to?
So I got posted to, I like to stay south because then, yeah, I liked the south because then it was closer to London because that's where I had a good social network. And then I found that the south was, when the sun did shine, it did shine. Yeah. So, so
Hey,
places like,
go easy, because I live in the
yeah, I know,
northwest.
but when you go to do exercise up north, you're like, oh, okay,
Hey,
why is it cloudy?
we do get the sun. It's sunny today.
I know it's sunny, but
Yeah, it
It's
is.
sunny,
It
but
is.
with a
It is
breeze.
warmer. It is
You know,
warmer.
when
Yeah,
there is a breeze, to me, it still feels nippy and like I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
walking around with, and then everyone is thinking, is she okay? Why is she wearing a jumper? And I'm like, oh no, it's not warm enough. Yeah, so I like to stay south because I think, yeah, for some reason it's warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in RF Odium Benson. So I did the loop, Odium Benson, and then RF Bryce Norton.
All right. Okay. And I've flown from Brighton Norton. Well, I've flown from the three of them, I think, but definitely flown from Bryce a few times. Yes.
Yeah, that was
And
my last one.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pretty slick operation actually.
I think so. It's good. Yeah.
And that would have been down to you because and the team you were with, definitely, because
Yeah.
you look after
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Well,
Being air and ground steward,
very nicely placed, of
yeah,
course.
telling us what to do, where to go, and
Yeah.
make sure everything's organised. So after that service with the RAF, until June 2021, right? So only recently, what was it that made you think, I want to move on?
Yeah. So I think I overstayed my planned time I'd planned to probably do 3 years return of service because the job no, yeah, I wasn't really happy with the job because then I was thinking, I don't really, I don't really like it. But then again, I thought, okay, that's fine. Do just 3 years. That was my thinking because when I went to trade training, I was thinking, no, this is not stimulating enough. I don't think I want to do it. But then when I was told I couldn't leave, I had to do 3 years of return of service, or I can't change trades whatsoever until I've done the 3 years. So I felt a bit stuck. Um, and then at that point, I was thinking, okay, I could do courses because that's something they don't tell you. You
Yeah,
could actually be in your role and do courses, so many things out there that you can actually get involved in. So I like to learn. So I was doing different courses and different things. So that's how I did the mediation. I don't even know how I got on. I just applied. I saw this thing on the internet. I applied for, but normally they just give it to people within the HR, or that you needed to be, I think, warrant officer, no, flying officer and above, something like that.
yeah.
It didn't say. I think someone put in a bad post. You know, when someone posts something and they didn't put the rank situation on that. So I got to the training, I hung Wickham, and luckily it wasn't uniformed because if it was, I would have been because I was literally out of training and
I
just not
see
even
you
an
would have been
SSC yet.
busted, wouldn't you? You would.
Yes. So I got in there and everyone was like talking about, luckily it wasn't, and you could tell because people were a bit older. And I think I was the only female, which I got used to as I got to know that there was, yeah, you could be the only female in the room. So I got used to that. But then there was a bit older and I was thinking, so then someone asked me, so what rank are you? It's like, I've just come out of Holton. It's like, then I think it was like a group captain or something. Then he
Yeah.
said to me, oh, I thought there was a rank requirement on this. I said, well, it didn't show. Well, I'm here. And then at that point, I thought for the role plays, I might probably avoid this individual at that point. But then, of course, you can't pick and choose who you're doing that. But when we're not uniformed, it kind of felt better because no one knew who the other person was. As if you can express yourself, it doesn't really matter. But you know how it is in the military, people like to carry their ranks around. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
so that you could do so many courses if you're interested. And the teams I was on, people are not really interested in doing any courses at the learning center. So I was always there.
So
Yeah.
you were always a sponge for courses to
Yeah.
learn more and more and more, which is brilliant because that helped you develop
Yeah.
to your
Yeah. You get
career.
different skills because the skills within the trade were a bit limited, of if you wanted to gain more. So for within the trade, yes, but then if you needed to gain more skills, then you had to kind of look elsewhere as well as
Yeah.
the job. So within I did this the well, then I got pregnant. So then that means I could have said, ooh, now I need to be thinking of people here. So then that way, that kind of, because when I was on maternity leave, then I was offered an extension. So because I was only doing 9 years, My contract was only 9 years, and 6 years reserve or something like that. And then I was offered an extra 3 years to get to 12. And I thought, oh, pension. Okay. So then I
Yeah.
got into the pension trap. Yes. So I got into that. I thought I'll just keep pushing and see. But then that was a very big push because my situation changed and yeah, people are not very nice.
Uh,
Then the children were getting older. Well, not older, but they were young. They were quite young,
how
but
many?
then they're
How
getting
many
into school.
children? How many
We've
children?
got two children, but the moving about wasn't really good for my son. Could take too long to kind of settle in. And I felt like my daughter kind of probably is more like me. She just plods along and
Right.
makes it look like, yeah, it's okay. We can carry on. But then I noticed that my son is probably different with settling in and yeah, so
Yeah.
I
Uh,
thought we need to think
And
about that.
if you don't mind me asking, and you can say, like I've said, no, I'm not telling you, Joe. What was difficult at that time for you, particularly?
So it was the work pattern. So what started was I got a divorce. So we separated from with my ex-husband, and then of course you're not as flexible as you would be. So you have to be saying, "Oh, can I please have notice to go and exercise, or can I
Yeah.
that kind of thing?" And then it becomes like you're being a burden. You're
Yeah. Yeah.
asking for all these, can you please support me in this kind of way? And then you're meeting people will be like, well, get yourself an au pair, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, so
Yeah.
and so is a single parent, they're doing this. Or I was thinking to myself, I wish my mum was here. I wish my
Yeah.
siblings were here. And then someone would say to you, "Oh, my family is in Scotland. I don't see them often. They can't really help me." I'm thinking, you don't need a visa to go to Scotland. Your parents are choosing, or your family are choosing, not to
Yeah.
help you out. So if my parents didn't need to get a visa, or my family, I would have somebody.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I've tried and they've been denied visas. So that is, and then someone just saying to you, well, get an au pair, that's extra expense. And then having
Yeah.
someone within, I like my own space, don't get me wrong, I like people. But again, living with somebody and then,
Yeah. I
okay,
mean,
you know.
it's so much easier.
But then someone else telling you how to live your life, and if you say no, or you need to give them reasons as to if you've tried all these things. So those were some of. It's quite difficult being someone from the diaspora, being in the military, because not everyone will understand. Because I think I met a lady who she's British and English actually, but then met someone in America when she was on deployment. So he was an American, and I spoke to her. She was in Bryce Norton, so when I just moved there, and she was saying to me how her husband has been denied a visa to live with her,
Well,
and he has to go back and forth. And I could look at her and I was thinking, wow, okay, I understand what you're going through because I've been through
yeah.
that situation. And she's like, and she also met the same resistance when she was a single parent at the time before she actually met this guy.
Wow.
And because of that, she was also, I think that's how she got to Bryce Norton, because the management wasn't being understanding. And
Yeah.
she was telling me because of that, she has to move back and forth with her husband, or yeah, and I was thinking, oh, I totally understand. But
That must have been an extremely difficult time for you.
yeah, it was very, very stressful. But then I got
What
used to it.
part of this was in your RAF career? 10-year point, 11?
No, it was probably about five, 5 years in.
Oh, wow. So,
Yeah,
so early, I thought it was further on. Well, I mean,
no.
your resilience was absolutely brilliant to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, it was yeah, I did give a few people a headache. So no, I didn't just go down like, oh yeah, okay, yes, yes, yes. No, because I'm one who likes to do a bit of research on things and know legislation and yeah, know that people are doing the right thing. And so I did knock on some doors and that kind of thing, got support. I think it was Benson. I did get a lot of support for you go to, they'll say, oh yeah, go to the Padre and then that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Go to, and sometimes you don't realize how much work that PSF did. But if you're in that process, you actually know what like organizations like SAFA do.
Yeah.
If you're going through things like divorce or that kind of thing, if you want to talk to someone. So they were quite supportive in that sense. But then again, the management changes around, and then you get another lot of people who know how to beat the system. Then they'll be like, yeah, we crush you, we crush you. So it depends on how far. Most people do not want to go that far. They'll be
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. So then they'll even tell you to your face, I mean, you signed up on the dotted line, why don't you PVR? That kind of thing. I'm like, you're not telling me what to do. I'm not doing that. I'm not, you didn't tell me to join,
And
but
PVR being personal voluntary release,
yes,
I.e.
yes,
just saying
yes,
I'm resigning. And it's
yes,
interesting you talked about speaking to the Padre. The Padre, when I was in, was sort of your HR, your human resources,
yes.
because you could tell them anything and they'd sort of be
Sort of. It
unbiased.
depends again, it depended who you're talking to and who, yeah. But I did get support until up until when I got to Bryce, and the resistance was a bit too much, that even if you went to somebody, because you know how it is, people get posted together, they know somebody,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
before you go to this person, that person has already been approached, and it's like, and I think at some point because I said to them, it was more to do with, you need to do these hours. You need to, and I said to them, I cannot practically do I need to be given some flexibility. And I knew that the militaries exempt some legislations or some rules. So there is flexible working. I know now they've changed. I mean, I talk to people now in the military like, oh, I work from home. I'm like, what? What? So yeah, they work from home. They do all this. There is compressed hours. So the management could get compressed hours and all that kind of thing. So, but then they couldn't offer it to the little people. And then I would question things like that. And then, of course, it becomes a bit of a problem. Why? Well, you cannot do that. Um, so what happened was that I said to them, I'm being strained because with the stewarding role, you needed to be, sometimes you needed to do like a summer ball. So I'll give you a scenario for the summer ball. Summer ball, you needed to be in 8 o'clock a.m.
yeah.
Prep, organize this event for probably up to 700 people. And then you're going to come back at 6 o'clock to work till 4 a.m. Okay.
Not exactly children friendly, is it?
Not at all. Okay. So then you'd be expected to pay someone to have your children all that long, but you're not being paid extra.
Oh, yeah.
So it just financially wasn't viable. I just didn't really understand how, but I was again paying, and I think at the time was I had a childminder who used to come, and £10 an hour. I'm not being paid that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be again forking out that much as well. And I was thinking, it's not working. It's just stressing me out. But then again, the people I was explaining to, they just didn't understand. It was like they would understand, but they just did not want to
Yeah, yeah,
really understand. So
yeah.
it became difficult for me. And I think at some point, hmm, they tried to get, my management tried to get an admin discharge. I was like, "Wha- but apparently I can, it doesn't seem like I can do what I signed up to do."
Right.
I said, but all I'm asking for is flexibility. And then I can, but if you're deployment, they would give me notice. But you can't tell me I'm on guard duty next week or over the weekend.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So it was just being reasonable, but I think they were just trying to do that. But I did manage to do the 12 years, but the last
Well,
bits were a pain. But yeah.
congratulations. I take my hat off to you because I'm not sure
Yeah.
how you did it,
I don't
especially.
know how I did it, but I was, but normally I come off across as someone quiet. So I would be watching people, I would listen, and you would say anything, and I'm just listening. But then if it requires a reaction, that's when then I will react and tell people where things are supposed to be and how things are supposed to be done. So I probably shocked my management over during those times because they thought they could just do whatever they want to do. And yeah, but I think it's good to stand up for what's right.
Of course it is, of course.
Yeah.
And just before you decided to wave goodbye to the RAF, you got an internship, didn't you? And how did that, what effect did that have on you?
So with the
Cyber,
the
cyber
transition.
security, cyber
Yes.
security.
So what happened was, so when you get into those 2 years, and if I knew before, I would have prepped better, because when you get into those 2 years, it's not enough time. It's literally not enough time, because you don't get time off work to actually do any of that stuff. You still be treated as a full-time employee. So
Yeah,
unless your job or your management are really that understanding, because some people were on these network courses or that kind, their managers were very understanding. But I've known people who would be deployed during their resettlement time. So with that, I got the internship with Moody's. I
yeah,
was so excited. Do you know, I was even surprised that I got interviewed, I got in. And how I got in was, this guy interviewed me and said to me just one question. Well, it was so many questions, but the question he asked and got me in there, he said to me, "What would you do? So if you were that person on the outside and you want to get information about business or a company, how would you get into the building to retrieve this information?" I was like, "Oh, that's simple. I'll just come in as a cleaner." Come in as a cleaner with a wig on, and because everyone is not in when the cleaners are in,
uh,
nobody's actually in. Come with a USB stick, stick it in, pretend to be cleaning around the computers and all that kind of thing, get the information, walk out. That's it. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then, yeah, he said to me that that was spot on. Like, nobody's actually said that before. I was like, okay. Because I think that's the quickest way you can get it. So that's how I got that internship. It was very interesting. Unfortunately, they didn't have any jobs, but I found the jobs, because they'll get you to do some of the work, like as a systems and cybersecurity analyst, and I found it really interesting. But I wanted to go into the whole information, the governance bit, like more of
yeah,
the compliance side of things. And because I was changing careers, it was very tough, because I wasn't going to do stewarding. I wanted to do something totally different. So I chose that cybersecurity, but there wasn't enough information with the careers, no, with the transitions, CTP,
yeah,
Career Transitions
yeah.
Partnership. They didn't have people to guide, like if there was a mentor for like literally a cybersecurity mentor, I think now they might do, because I think there is veterans, um, forgotten what it's called, but there is one that does with cybersecurity. I think I've joined them as well. But before then, I had to find them myself on LinkedIn. I did network a lot, a lot. I would advise people, please start networking now, like literally now. Don't wait for the 2 years, because if I knew that, I would have been well equipped with qualifications and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because CTP would have the educational providers there, but without you knowing what you want, because I think I wasted money. I didn't even do the course because I wasted money on this. I think it was called, sorry, the name is gone. It's
It's
a
okay.
hacker thing course that was going on, and I just gone on to that ethical hacker
Right.
course that I literally signed up on. So I was given the granting, the money, because I had previous knowledge within qualification in IT. So when I went to the learning center, they said, yes, you can do it. So you can't just, I think now you can, because if you're interested in that, you can just say, I want funding for this to use my
To use your credits. Yeah.
credit. Yeah, I think it was to use, they give you a bit of money for training if you're in your resettlement towards something that you would want to do when you leave. So I used my resettlement money on that course. So when I did my research and networking on LinkedIn, I got some people saying to me, "Oh, you need to start with CompTIA A plus, and you need to go do all these CompTIA courses." I was thinking, oh, okay. And I had people were very nice, the veterans on LinkedIn, the veterans community, very, very nice people. You just put a post out, people will be saying to you, if you need a chat, connect with me, we'll chat. Very
Yeah.
nice people. So I would advise people, if they're in their transition stage, go onto LinkedIn, just say, hi, guys, I'm near to my end of time. Anyone wants to, any advice, but people will be sending you
Yeah,
messages
because
and
we're all in it
communicating.
together. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So, so I went back to CTP and I said to them, I actually want to do the CompTIA courses. And they said to me, no, you're not priority because you decided to use your resettlement money on a different course. I was thinking, but I'm within the transition. So they said to me, you're not priority. So they didn't put me on those courses. And I was like, okay, it's fine. But there is other veterans organizations that actually have cybersecurity courses for free, or then you can just self-fund or self-fund your own CompTIA. You can do self-read and then do the certification because it's an American body, so you can just pay for it
Yeah.
differently. So I did that. So I didn't get into Moody's, sadly. And I think they had a good work ethic, and because it was an American company and you could work from home constantly, you didn't have to go to the office. That would have been amazing. But they didn't have any jobs, so it was only that. And I got a job as well for the census. So but I was very proactive. If you're not proactive, it's not going to be as successful as I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't think you're going to sit there and look at CTP website and look at the events, go to them and don't push the CV out. You don't talk to people. It's not going to be as
Yeah, you've got to
successful.
go the extra mile, haven't you? You've got to put some effort in.
You need to put not some, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Because you need to do a lot. And mine wasn't as easy because it was during COVID, during the
Wow.
lockdown.
You, you
Yeah,
you like to choose your moments, don't you, really?
I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah. So by the time, yeah, it was just when the contract was ending, it just said 2021. And at that time, no one knew it would be they just give you the years and so that's it. But most people, we were offered, all of us were offered an extension whereby I said to myself, no, I've had enough. I'm going for myself and for my sanity. I'm going, and the children, I'm sure they'll be happier. We'll figure it out. I think it was my sergeant's role to kind of come to me every day and remind me I'm making a very big mistake. You need to sign back on. You're not thinking about the children. You're not I'm thinking about us. So I carried on, but she did her best every day. She'd come say, are you okay? Are you sure you don't want to sign back on? And I kept saying no. Then census came up. So again, I was on CTP event and the people of the census were on there. I was like, okay, I just put my CV in there. I think that was one of the best interviews I'd had. Uh, so far, that was one of the best interviews because I was talking like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And I think the lady was from Adecco because I think they were
All
just
right.
contracting. And it was more like conversation or meeting. I mean, interview, not the same as like the civil service ones where it seems scripted. Yeah, so she was like, yeah, we'll get you on. So I got I think it was a team leader, survey team leader. It was very interesting as well. I was just leading a team of 14 interviewers. So these individuals, so these guys were going in after the census. So to do like a small survey on those properties, because again, people just fill in stuff, and some of these houses might be there, and it might have been by the time they did the census, it might be a parking lot now, or it could be a big space of land, but then the census have it as residential. So that my job was to make sure. So I went and did a recce to make sure the postcodes were actually people living there, as opposed to a parking lot or a supermarket. So it was quite interesting. So I did that for 3 months, but I was still in contract as well. So the taxman was happy with my situation because I was still in contract with RAF. And then I had this job with the census, Office of National Statistics, and then at the same time I got HMRC role. So with the HMRC one, I think I was pretty lucky because I did attend the events meeting. I think they do the events with
No, no,
CTP.
there you
Oh,
go.
have I gone
There,
somewhere else?
there,
Okay,
there
I
you
saw that.
go again. Lucky, labor under correct knowledge. You did attend an event, didn't you?
I did. I did attend an event. However, with that event, it seemed like I was out of the limits that they would be taking. So they would take someone who has 6 months on because they're not paying you. So it was more like an internship as well with HMRC. So it was called the RISE program, was specifically for HMRC. Now they're calling it Jiffy, I think. So Jiffy was in going forward. So I don't know, I've forgotten what it's called, but it's more for people coming from the police, from whichever force you're coming from, people are coming from the prisons. And then, so now you're getting, it's more generic, like a general, you're getting a job in the civil service. So that is called Jiffy now. And before then, you had to have 6 months left on your time because they're not going to pay you. So with the 6 months left, that means you would go in, work, and see if you like the job. If you don't like the job, you still could leave
Yeah.
and find something else. But I was in my 3 months, so I didn't qualify. So that's why I say I was lucky.
Right.
And
Okay.
yeah, well, maybe not, but maybe I convinced them
I,
somehow.
I, I, st I still reckon you had to be good enough and you had to put the work in.
I think well, okay, so we'll take the luck out of it then.
Yeah.
Um, so I went to yeah, so I went to to their event, listening to what that, but oh, I'll go back a bit. Actually, I didn't meet them through that. I had to go back to the CTP for me to be able to, even though I got a connection on LinkedIn, who I spoke to, and they said to me they're working for HMRC they got through the RISE program. And I said to them, okay, so how do I join? And they say to me, I'll connect you with a recruiter that you can message. I emailed them, and this lady said, oh, at this point, we're not actually, the RISE program is stopped a bit, but we can't take you on. However, just look on the CTP website. We might have something. If something comes up, we will be on there. So then I had to go back to CTP and look, and well, not lucky. Then one day they popped up. They were doing an event, and I thought I'll go on. They had a few people from the RISE program who've been successfully transitioned into the HMRC. At this time, I still was getting interviewed for cybersecurity, and so whoever, because now I was becoming a bit start panicking because I was now 3 months, children, I need to have a job. I need to have the job. So I was,
And you're still a single parent at this point.
yes,
Yeah.
still single parent. I was thinking, oh, it's not looking good. I need to get a job. At this point, I was like, whoever offers me a job, that's what I'm going for. Because it's easier to look for a job when you actually have a job.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, and I don't have family, that would be like, oh yeah, they can kind of house me until I kind of sort myself out. And I wasn't married, whereby the spouse is going to be working, because some of my friends have been in that situation. Like, oh no, I'm not working for 6 months. I need a rest. But of course, someone else is paying the bills. So I didn't have most of those luxuries. So it got to a point where whoever is offering me a job, I needed to take it. So I did the careers event, CTP for Royce, HMRC. People were talking about it, but it was more they were recruiting for criminal the criminal team. So they like the armed forces. They like us to go in because then we're already resilient. We already know how to work in ever-changing situations. So those transferable skills, you just slot in and all you have to do is their training to do the job, like understanding their policies. And other than all the soft skills you already have. So that's why they like to get mainly for the criminal team. I found when I got in their event, they were talking more about the criminal, how sounds amazing, by the way, it's more disruption. You go in, you would be disrupting organized crime, and it's like, yeah, that's the stuff I like to do. However, I stopped thinking because again, I get excited, and then in the end, I was like, you can't do that. So my main one was flexibility. So anyone wanting flexibility, civil service will offer you that flexibility. They have something called like flexi time.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
remember. I
what's this?
remember that. I worked for the
Oh,
civil
yeah.
service. Yeah,
That's amazing, this flexi time. Because as a parent, I run out of leave so quickly. So in the military, I didn't run out of leave much, but I was spending a lot of money on holiday clubs
yeah,
because then what happened was that you had to put your leave in earlier. So for you, because they had a rule where you have to have two people off or at the same time. But if 4 or 5 people in the team have children, everyone won't have
yeah,
leave
yeah.
during the half term. So it became a bit of fast come, fast serve, and it was then you have to spend more money on holiday clubs or childcare. So when I had got there and I was putting my leave in so quickly, and my manager said to me, "But why are you putting your leave in so early? Because you could change your mind. You might even not need it." I was like, oh, I need to get used to knowing that we're not competing for leave here. So no, I'm not going to receive leave. Even if you come to me today that you need leave tomorrow, I'll give you leave. It's like, oh my God, this is heaven. So I felt really relaxed. Initially, it was, you're still in the moment. Flexi leave, I'm just learning. 3 years later, I'm just learning how to use it. It works so well because you can accumulate your hours. So even if you do 10 minutes there, 30 minutes there, it adds up for the 3 month
Yeah,
period. And you use flexi, you can do flexi half day, you can do, oh, it's nice. Yeah,
excellent.
good
So
stuff.
let me just summarize because I know there's more to come yet. Because I want to cover a few more things. So, right, at the age of 4, you're at a boarding school in Uganda. You got a mum and dad, and you spend time with both. They don't live together. You got a sister that is on the wrong end of good, and you're thinking really positive. You come across to the UK because you want to just come across after your mum left a pamphlet there for you to read. You do a
Yeah.
degree, you do a degree, think, all right, what next? You fail the army physical test. You don't give up there because then you're walking past and you walk in another career
No, no,
centre.
it was the medical, it wasn't the physical.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
ready
yeah.
for the
That's what I
physical.
mean. That's
Yeah.
what I mean by failing the army test, the
Oh,
medical
okay. Okay.
medical
Mm.
test. And then you go into an army career centre again. You get in the RAF, you join. You then become um, confronted when you've got children with a system that doesn't really allow you to be flexible. And you do okay at Briars, I think, because they were pretty good. But then when you moved to Benson, they weren't so good. Is that
No,
the?
it was the other,
Oh, it's
yeah.
the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank
But
you.
same thing.
Short term memory, dreadful.
No,
Yeah.
you're doing well.
And so you've had all this, right? And resilience just shines through because
Thank you.
CCP not so particularly helpful for you, and yet you're still learning about. Well, actually, yeah, we can do this. And then after your census, and you put in charge of a team, which is I'm really pleased because that showed uh, how transferable the skills were that you learned in the military, and by the way, during your childhood. So it's all building up, and of course being a single parent, bringing up 2 kids, one, the son that wasn't so okay with being moved, and your daughter was just pretty much like you or whatever. So then, after all that, you work for HMRC, find your niche with cybercrime and how to detect that, the criminology, because it's really flexible. They like the military mind and the soft skills. And now you've just launched something, haven't you? And I'd like you to share a little bit of what you've done because I know what you're doing, and just
Yeah.
a little bit about that. What's coming next in your life now?
So right now, so I did start. So again, it's just thinking because I already have the skills, and I find that people like to come to me for like advice or to listen, just to talk to me about what's going on in their lives. And I found that sometimes we might be out there looking for jobs or looking for things to do, but it's good to look within. So I thought to myself, let me look within. I've got the skills. What can I do? Because I needed to increase my income. So I'm thinking I need to increase my income. And I was thinking, I like to help people, but can I still earn with the skills I have without going out there? Because I was thinking, I don't have much time to go out there and learn more things because I'm working full time. I'm a full time parent. I'm thinking there is no time to go again to do full-time studying. I just don't. So I said to myself, I've got these skills. Let's look at the skills. Can we earn from these skills? That's when I was thinking to myself, and to be honest, that wasn't the idea that I had before, because I wanted to start a business, but that wasn't the business. That was, I still have the idea. I'll do it at some point. But I thought this is actually better because I'm not going to get somebody else to do it. I'll get people like freelancers and everything else, but I will be doing the work as opposed to resourcing. So of course, I do resource things like accounting. Even if I do work for the tax office, I like to kind of put myself away from that. So
Yeah.
let someone else do it for me, and then just look if it's done correctly and make sure that they're legit, of course.
Yeah, because
Um,
you wouldn't want to cross the HMRC, would you?
and I don't want to cross myself.
Because you'll be looking at it and thinking, ooh,
I'm thinking,
that's not...
did you actually, to be honest, if they looked at my tax account and they'd be like, did you do this return? And we're paying you to look at, and it was never done correctly. So no, I pay someone else to do my tax return for me. So then they don't see I'm not doing a good, well, how did you miss that? Maybe you need more training. I don't know. So I thought, no, I started meticulous mentoring so actually that's not even the name I wanted to go for. The name I wanted to go for, all the names were taken.
Right, okay.
So, but then actually, when I say
I
it
think
and I look at it, it's actually a
that's a pretty
very
good,
nice name.
pretty
Yes.
cool name, that actually.
Yes, in the
That's a
end, I was
cool,
like, oh, whatever, I'll take that. It's nice. I started it last year, 2024, in
yeah,
April.
yeah,
Again, it started as an idea, thinking people come to me and I'm offering people free advice. And I found that when I offer people free advice, yeah, I'll do it. And they don't have accountability. They come back to you, say the same thing. I'm like, but that's what we talked about, but you haven't done anything. And you kind of you're not you saying to them you're not doing anything. And I feel like we're not getting anywhere. And I found that with a few people I met that you're giving advice, they say yes, I'll do it, but they don't do it. But if someone is paying for it, they will do it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they'll
Charging for the accountability, of course.
thank you. So I found that, yeah, so I do mentoring for personal development. I do money mentoring. I do transition mentoring and then well-being. I do volunteer as well for Surrey Care Trust for well-being. So it deals with mainly children between the ages of 11 to
Oh,
25. Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah. And of course, well, I haven't done their training yet, SAFA, for transitions to be helping out veterans and stuff, because I
fantastic.
didn't get the support. And I think when I saw that on their website, they're offering, they do transition mentoring, that I think that's a new thing that they started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I thought that is very, very good. Reason is that if you don't have a support network, even if you have, you kind of get out of Civil Street and you're alone. You feel, because there's a community, even my children feel that, mainly on things like Halloween. Actually, that's
Yeah,
the main one. Halloween in on the bases where on the like you would go in, you'd go trick-or-treating on every door, even when
yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah.
doesn't have children, they have the light on, there is sweets there. You just come pick and
Yeah,
go.
on the pads patch.
On the
Yeah,
part, yes, exactly.
yeah,
So the trick-or-treating out of the community initially like, can we go and trick-or-treating? I said, and I think where we live, I think there's so many old people, so they don't have children.
yeah,
And then they said, I'll say to them, we don't have anywhere. We've only just moved here. So there's no community. So the people who know each other would have where to trick or treat. And then now we've made a few friends. So there is houses that you see that they're all decorated. So then they would go. So then yeah, they did go with friends. So yeah, so they're new friends who have communities. You know, there's some houses now are built in that kind of way where it's a community kind of setting. So then they would go there and do the trick or treat. So last year's one was actually nice, as opposed to the ones before then. Finding schools. That's another one that I found difficult because I applied to schools, as you do, and I didn't realize as a military person, even if the school is full, it doesn't matter, you get space.
Yeah.
That's not the same when you leave.
No.
I sat around with my children. I was thinking, I think I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want the police to come to me saying, why are your children not in school? So I applied to the council and I waited. School started, September, gone. Children not in school. I actually called the council and said, I haven't received any schools. They said to me, oh, the schools you chose are all fully subscribed. So why were you not telling me? Oh, we sent you a letter. It's coming. I said, but what am I supposed to do? And then a letter came after in October, I think at some point,
Oh, that's handy,
and
isn't it?
very handy. And they were offering me a school that was like 6 miles away, and it requires development or some improvement. I said, I'm not driving 6 miles or 10 miles away to go to a school that requires development just because you can. So what I did the old-fashioned way. You know, we don't have the yellow pages anymore. Well, we do, but it's online. So I was on last thing, Radius kind of thing. I called up the schools, and then I would say to them, do you have school space for a year 3 and year 2, that kind of thing? No, year 4 and year 3. No,
Yeah.
year 2 and 4. And one say, oh no, we have year 4, but we don't have year 2. I'm like, oh dear, I need them to be in one school. Then it's easier for me to. So I did a bit of calling around, and the school I that had space for year 4. This person was so nice. They said to me, actually, if you have one in year 4, I didn't know they did catchments because in Boris Norton, they did feeder school, not catchments. So they did feeder, which meant that if your child is in a primary school, then they would feed into the secondary school. That wasn't the case in Boris Norton. I mean, you're within the catchment, you're going to the school that is within the catchment.
Yeah.
So the area I've moved to, it doesn't work like that. You've got more chances if you're within the catchment, you're within the feeder, and so on, because they're oversubscribed. So the lady said to me, I know you might not be looking that far, but first look at the secondary school you want your child to go into, and then look at the primary school. I was like, why should I do that? So there is a feeder system in this area. So the chances of you getting the secondary school be higher for you to go into the feeder school.
Oh, well.
I was like, okay, thank you. And she said to me, our feeder school is such and such a school. And I was like, okay, that's just down the road from me. So can I still get a space there? But we have one space for the year 4. And I said, okay. So it became, because it was new to me. So I mean, someone could have helped me and said, you know what, this is how you apply for schools. If there is no school, this is then what you do. So I think the transition, if the partnership, whatever CTP was helpful, because I think they concentrate of more you getting a job, you getting a house, and they don't care about all the other things. I don't think they even care about the house thing. I don't know. So it kind of would have been helpful if just having someone to bounce ideas on, like, oh, what would you do for that? What would you kind of thing? But yeah, but anyway, I managed to get that information from the school. They were very helpful. They said to me, what you can do is bring the year 4. I'll speak to the head teacher for you and say, we do the sibling. So if she's in, the other one will come on a sibling merit thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't even know that happened. So that's how they managed to they didn't have space, but because normally I think children move around in certain years and they always have space in year 4, but not all the other years. So that's how I got space, but it was so stressful.
Well, congratulations.
And I needed them to be in school because they were coming to end of October, and I needed to start work in London with HMRC, and I was thinking, I can't leave them at home. So I said to the school, can you take them next week on Monday? Because I needed to do an induction. I was like, oh my God. So I think transition mentoring does help in any situation, be it in the veterans, be it children leaving school, moving from country to country, from location to location. So that's why I am doing the transition mentoring. Mainly, I've got lived experience, and so I think I've got a lot to help people with. Were you saying something?
Yeah, well, congratulations on being so resilient, such a responsible person and parent, and taking that seriously, because That's important because the children are our future. And I'm really strong on that, like you. So, and I'm glad you touched on coaching and mentoring, because I agree that it's really helpful to have someone who can give you either the arm around the shoulder
Mm,
or a kick up the backside, depending on what you
mm,
need. And you've touched on how important it is to have a social and business network. What's the one top thing that the top tip that you would give to someone either in the military going to leave, or someone who's already left, or just someone in business who wants a tip that's going to help them get better results? What's the one tip you give?
One tip. I think it's just taking the initiative, or we all have ideas. And if you don't actually act on those ideas, I think the acting on the ideas and take it on sets us all apart, because we're all thinkers. We're all thinking, we're all up in our heads.
Yeah,
But go out and do whatever you're thinking of doing until you start. I mean, it's just an idea.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because I always have a notebook at the side of my bed. So if I wake up, right, what I'll do is I'll write down the 5 things that I didn't get done that day that I wanted to get done. Then I've unloaded my mind so I can go to sleep. I'm not worried. And then in the morning, they're the first things I tackle.
Yeah, I do a lot of journaling. That
yeah,
helps me clear my mind.
yeah,
And I find that I don't know if some people don't, because I've advised some people, some of my friends to do that, and say I don't like writing, I don't like silence, and I'm thinking, okay. So, but I find that if you download, because again, it's like a glass of water or a glass of something you pour, you can't keep pouring in something that is full, it's just overflowing. So
yeah,
empty some stuff. So again, write stuff down,
yeah.
and then you know you've emptied it, and then sit in silence. I like silence. I know it's not so many people's thing, but I like silence. That's how ideas come to you. That's how you can listen to your intuition. You just like, oh, okay. So I think take time away and be quiet for once, because I know some people don't like it. Most people don't actually. They would want some background noise when they tell you on, I like this. But no, I think take time away and just be quiet. Just do something without any noise whatsoever. You'll be impressed at how things come to you. Yeah.
Well, fantastic, Angela. Thank you for your service. How can people get in touch with you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I've got a website. It's meticulousmentoring.com. And yeah, and then it's Angela at meticulousmentoring.com. I think I'm on Instagram as well. But LinkedIn is quite good, but I know most people are not on LinkedIn, but I've got a Google page as well. Yeah, people can just Google meticulous mentoring or just Angela Adroni. I seem to pop up in Google. Google knows me.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, listen.
Thank you so much, Joe, for the opportunity. It's been amazing.
No,
Thank you so
thank you
much
for
for
your
your time.
service to the
No,
country.
thank you for everything.
Thank
Yes.
you for being a wonderful.
And thanks for
parent.
connecting with me on LinkedIn, because yeah, we did connect on LinkedIn. So yeah.
We did.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so remember joeteams.com, joeteams.com. That's where you can get loads of resources, the Pathfinder program, lots of things, my most recent book as well. So remember, my mission is to help 1 million veterans and business owners achieve the dreams, goals, and aspirations they deserve. And until we meet again, have a brilliant day. Thank you. joeteams.com is a resource I have created to fulfill my mission to help 1 million veterans and business entrepreneurs like you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations they deserve. joeteams.com is jam-packed full of valuable resources specifically designed to help you on your journey to success. Visit joeteams.com now to find out how you can join and start your journey to success immediately. That's joeteams.com, joeteams, joeteams.com. And until we meet again, have a brilliant day.